Hey everybody, welcome back. Now we're gonna take a look at this Stormtrooper from the recent vintage trilogy wave. Um, I really like the packaging because it's the original Stormtrooper packaging, and I always found this to be one of the cooler packages. It shows two Stormtroopers, and I don't know, just to me this was just a really cool scene. You can sort of see the explosion in front of them, and anyway, let's take a look at the back. And as you can see, that's what the original package looks like with the original figure. And some other figures in the line. Okay, now here is the original Stormtrooper. And as you can see, it was a fairly simple figure. No articulation in the neck. It just was molded onto the torso. And it just had the basic shoulders and hips. And it had the old style Imperial blaster. When I was a kid, I used to think that said oil. That in the back, and like that was their oil compartment or something. Anyway, still not a bad figure. You know, they even had the detail of the different knees that the Stormtrooper armor had and so forth. So it was fairly good. If you move up to the Power of the Force line, you get a Stormtrooper that looks something like this. This is actually the Han Solo and Stormtrooper disguise, but I think it's a good example of a Power of the Force Stormtrooper. Compare it with the original. You have the much larger blaster, as you can see, and the buff, broad shoulders, narrow waist. Let's see the back. Just a impossibly buff body. Move ahead, the more recent Stormtrooper here. This is about 2006. Articulation is not so good. Swivel elbows. It's in a perpetual bent elbow pose. It does have swivel knees, but they're not ball hinged. And no articulation ankles, swivel hips, swivel torso. And he had a neck that could look up and down, and you could turn. It's not really a ball hinge. It's kind of like a slide hinge. It was pretty good for the time. Now, this Stormtrooper here, I have an extra one to show you without having to open the package. So, he comes with a Stormtrooper blaster. As you can see, it is much smaller than the Power of the Force one. You can see that. The same blaster rifle that was with that earlier Stormtrooper I showed you. And, okay, now let's look at the figure. It's good, it's movie accurate. You can take off the helmet and see what his face looks like. He's wearing sort of a helmet liner. He's a sort of a generic face, so you can't really say he's a clone, which I'm sure a lot of the fans appreciate. The helmet is a very loose fit. He has a holster belt that has a working holster for his blaster. Fortunately, the thermal detonator pack does not come off like it did in some previous ones, which was kind of a pain because it would come off and fall off all the time. He has a ball hinged torso, ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders. He has those cool ball hinges in the hips, so he has much more range of motion, or ball hinged knees and ball hinged ankles. Criticisms, it just seems like you cannot get him in a good pose. He looks like he looks slouchy. There's just nothing you can do about it. The helmet seems to be too big, and the neck just wants to get in this pose. Just cannot. I mean, I just can't get him to look very Stormtrooper-y. That's about as good as you can get. Just not. He just looks kind of drooped over and hunched over. So he's a good movie accurate figure. But I wish they could have made the helmet just slightly smaller. Although I think it's in perfect scale with this this earlier one. And another criticism is the paint is a little sloppy on the eyes. As you can see, there is supposed to be some white in between the eyes and that bill on the helmet, and there is none here. So they managed to do it on the earlier one, and even on the 1977 Stormtrooper. So it's still a good figure. I would say it's probably going to be a peg warmer. I'm seeing a lot of these. You have a clone trooper, a sand trooper, and now a stormtrooper to add to the peg warmers for this wave. So go ahead and open it up, have fun, army build. You know, it's a good figure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Bye.